Well, you debuted in 2009, but it was under Ivan Henjak. What do you remember of your debut?
I remember getting flogged by the Sharks. No, the whole week was extremely exciting for my friends, family. A funny one as well, you know, always supported the Sharks as a little kid growing up, and you know, to actually make my debut against them was pretty wild. And yeah, we came down to Shark Park and we were just outdone by a good Sharks team on the night.
To be in that Broncos side as well that had guys like Lockie, Petro at the back end of his career, Sam Thaiday, Corey Parker, like to come into first grade and learn from those guys, premiership winners, what was that like and how important was that to you?
Yeah, extremely important, mate. And, you know, we talked about, you know, how I've stayed in the game for a long time. I think having those younger years, having seen all those professionals and what they do and what it takes to be a first grade player is something that really set myself up for that. As an 18, 19-year-old kid, you know, I'd get through a day saying about 3 or 4 words. You come in, you didn't want to say anything, you didn't want to step on anyone's toes, and, you know, just tried to watch and observe and, you know, learn as much as you could off those guys.
Being a young half that kind of had to step into those roles when Darren Lockyer retired, like, how difficult was that? They say you don't want to follow Bradman, right?
Yeah, it was really hard, mate. And sort of my early days of, you know, going into that role, there's a lot of comparisons to Alfie, which, you know, I don't see is, you know, obviously I'm just short and play the same position, but being in Brisbane, it was a one-club town at the time, and, you know, they expect a lot up there. Yeah, there was a lot of pressure on whoever the halfback was at that club, but, you know, I really enjoyed it.
Now to Hunt, he'll kick. He puts a kick in behind, it'll go dead. Oh, no, it's battered back. It's a try for the Broncos, I think. I think they're all onside, and Ben Hunt has scored another miraculous try.
2015 was a great season for the Broncos in the way you performed. Like, take me back to the role you went on there when Wayne came in as coach.
I guess we're sort of building into that. In 2014, we had a decent year. We had a pretty good roster, and, you know, Anthony Milford came in, and, you know, Darius Boyd came back and just sort of filled out our roster, made it complete, I guess.
What did Wayne do for your game?
Gave me a lot of confidence. I've always said Wayne's a guy that knows how to get the best out of guys, individuals, and you know, I don't know exactly how, but he always just gave me a lot of confidence that, you know, things were going to go well for us every game, didn't matter who we're playing. You know, he'd always seem to find a way to say the right things and, you know, make you believe that you're going to go there and win.
Obviously, a very famous grand final. What's your memories of it? What stands out in when Ben Hunt thinks of that grand final now?
Oh, the ending is probably what stands out the most to me, but, you know, it's hard to... You know, I haven't watched it back, but it's hard to really remember certain parts of it. You know, I can remember Milf playing really well. You know, I can remember their last try very well. You know, there's just little snippets.
Golden points in the grand final for 2015. An incredible goal! Ben Hunt knocks the ball on off the kickoff. It couldn't be too cruel, could it?
Can you believe that?
Obviously, the moment in Golden Point, don't want to harp on it too much, but for you, in the hours afterwards, what was it like to kind of, you know, I imagine you probably want to sink into a hole and disappear, but you've got family, you've got friends, it's a grand final. Like, how did you handle that, those moments?
Just wanted to disappear, but, you know, the club that the Broncos were, it was, you know, everyone was extremely supportive of me. I remember Justin Hodges, the first one, and, you know, I was terrified of Hodjo. I played beside him for years, and I admired him as a player, and he was one of the first players that come to me and, you know, put his arm around me and said that it was all right and that everything's going to be okay, and, you know, I really appreciate that for him. Now
we're almost, what, 10 years down the track. How do you look back on it now, that moment?
You know, it's something that, you know, I think really has made me as a person. As hard as it was and as disappointing as it was and still is, it has made me better. You know, I went through some pretty tough times in the years following that, and, you know, there was periods where I wanted to give up the game, and, yeah, it was some really dark times, but now I can look back on it and you say that I've been able to get through that adversity. You know, I went and got help. You know, my wife was really helpful. I got through that darkness, and I feel become a better person and been able to show what you can do when you go through some dark times. You're able to come out of that and, yeah, still be a great player.
You pushed it down, but initially, right? That was the reaction, to kind of just bury it and not address it?
That's kind of the way I addressed everything through my life. You know, obviously nothing was as big as that, but I always, yeah, just felt like, yeah, I'll just push it aside, I'll move on, I'll be okay. But then, you know, I think there's one might have been a drop off a kickoff or something else happened, and people start yelling, and you hear all the noise and Instagram and social media, and everything sort of lights up again. And you can't help but it's just in our nature to start thinking about those bad times again. And it snuck back in, and sort of started playing some bad footy, and it was really getting to me a bit. And like I said, my wife was a big help. She, got me talking to a sports psych, and found ways to acknowledge that did happen, but different ways to move on from it.
If your wife Bridget didn't kind of give you that encouragement and you didn't go and get that help, do you think like you could have given away the game? Was that realistic at certain points?
Yeah, I definitely think it was. I just really wasn't enjoying my footy at all. And people might look at that and say, how is that even possible? You're playing at the highest level, you're paid well, everything's sort of put on a platter for you. But I just really wasn't enjoying it. And, as a kid, all you want to do was play footy. I went to boarding school. I loved playing footy every day. I went into that Broncos system, like I said, and really enjoyed it, and always played the game just because I loved it. And to not get joy out of it was something that was really, really hard for me. It really did get to a point where, I considered giving it up.
And when did the love come back?
The help I got helped me just focus back on myself and, what I can bring, what I can do, and just being grateful for what I've got outside of football as well. I've got a beautiful life, got, 2 healthy kids, and, they were a big part of it as well. More being grateful for having that and what they can do for me, and also being able to switch off away from footy more. There's a large period of my career there footy was just everything.
You mentioned your young family there. Obviously a big decision in 2017 to pick them up, relocate and come here to the Dragons.
I haven't talked about it too much, but, Broncos were such an amazing club and still are an amazing club, and they done so much for me. And to leave that club was something that I honestly never thought was going to happen. Until the Dragons come along and they put that offer on the table, it was something I'd never considered. And talking to my wife, and, she was open to a bit of change as well. And in the end, it was kind of too big of an opportunity to pass up. I'm glad we came down, but, there's still parts of me that, really miss being at the Broncos as well, because, some of my best mates are from up there, and, some of the times I had there were amazing.